What's up, nerds? We are your hosts. I am Jake.
And I'm Chad.
This week, we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We are also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce.
This week, we will be talking about the first episode of She-Hulk, now streaming on Disney Plus.
And then we'll finish out the episode by talking about the House of the Dragon, now streaming on HBO Max. So, let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd Podcast. Nerd.
Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd Podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Chadley, how was your week?
Well, it had 7 days in it. No, it was pretty good.
Consistent, at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your birthday party was on Saturday.
Was on Saturday. You were there.
I was there. Yeah. I'm surprised. You were pretty sloshed.
Oh, it was bad. It's real bad. But it was fun. We had a good time.
Him and his cousin-in-law, who is also a police officer, where it's just, no. I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah, you're good.
Pressured me to drink in excess when they knew I was driving home. I made sure that I used Jake's at-home breathalyzer before I left.
It's my penis.
Which is sad for you because I blew a .07. Micro penis.
Wiener. That joke will be funny in a little bit here.
Yeah, it will. What about you, Jake? How was your week?
It was good. I had a birthday on Saturday. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Actually, you and your cousin pressured someone to drink in excess. Sorry.
This one, we went axe throwing, and then we came back to my house and pretty sure everybody got pretty rowdy.
Oh yeah, I stayed like 4 extra hours to make sure I was fine to drive.
Yeah.
Played Tippy Cup for the first time.
You've never played? That was your first time?
Yeah, well, I guess I don't expect you to remember that conversation because that was your exact reaction on Saturday, too.
Oh. But in nerd-related things, I watched... Oh, shit, I was going to grab my... I'm going to grab it anyway.
Grab him and I'll tell him about the Sandman update.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that have not watched The Sandman on Netflix yet, all 10 episodes dropped at once. Fantastic show. And then randomly last week, they released 2 more episodes. They're not part of the main story. Well, I haven't watched both of them yet, I'm not going to lie. But one of them really isn't a huge part of the main story. It just is kind of like a side story from the comic realm of it. But yeah, they released two new episodes. So
yeah, pretty crazy.
Cool. And then
I watched Elvis, which was awesome. What does this do? Oh no!
It's a music box.
I never knew that did this. Now I'm not going to be able to get to shut up, though. Fuck. I'll put it over here.
It's weird because he literally just watched that for 2 hours. He didn't even know that there was a movie about it yet.
Yeah, the movie is fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
You're going in the background. It's fine. It'll stop eventually. Keep going. It's funny.
Anyways, yeah, it's super good. Austin Butler, who plays Elvis, he killed it, man. He did a really good job. I've seen him in other things, and I have not been overly impressed by him. But he looks like Elvis. It's pretty wild, and he did a really good job. And I have to say this, and she's gonna be so embarrassed, but it was really funny. My girlfriend does not. She likes Elvis, but she didn't know a ton about him, I guess. And there's a part in the movie where he's singing, And if any of you guys know about, I know it's still going. I don't know
Still
what to
go-
do. And I can put it outside of the room.
No, just keep going. If it's
But
still going when we go to sponsor, then yeah, sure.
yeah, I'll move it. But there's like a part where like the girls are like pulling at his clothes and freaking out, and she's like, oh, like give me a break. And I'm like, no, babe. I was like, they did that shit to him. Like he was a big deal. And we won't go too much into the movie, but towards the end, there's like actual video and pictures of him, and she there's like a part where he walks by a camera and like winks at it and smiles, and my girlfriend just goes, "Damn," and I go, "Yeah, handsome," and she goes, "Yeah, I totally get why those girls are doing that now." Yeah, so but it was a fantastic movie. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. We won't do a deep dive on it, but really,
I
really
haven't
good.
watched it yet, so that's
Yeah,
partially why. But
it's a commitment. It's like 2 hours and like 45 minutes or something like that.
ah,
Yeah.
so not tonight. Okay. Anything
Stop.
else? Oh, nice. Anything else fantastic happen this week for you? Fantastic, interesting, fun, different.
I don't think so. Am I missing something?
No, I was just kidding.
Okay, cool.
I didn't do anything.
No,
Literally under things to talk about. Nothing.
nothing.
Oh, I guess I've been streaming more on Twitch. So if you guys like watching gameplay, follow us on Twitch. It's also the same profile that we use when we do our live episodes. So
Nice.
just all things Nerd Pod on Twitch.
Yay.
Woo! Well, with that being said, we're going to talk about our first sponsor here before we get into the rest of the episode.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I wasn't going to until you
Okay.
actually said that.
Now you're gonna do
now
it?
I want to, but I won't. We're sponsored this week by Raise Energy Drinks. They're a fantastic energy drink. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 crash. And if energy drinks aren't your thing, they've got so much more to offer, from protein-packed pancakes, desserts in a cup, pre-workout, all of it.
I'll give you a dessert in a cup.
Why are you going to put it in a cup? Anyways, listen up, learn how to save 15%. We'll be right back with you to talk about She-Hulk.
Woo.
What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with 0 crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their Refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you. All right, friends. We want to talk about the first episode of She-Hulk, now on Disney+. First off, spoiler warning, spoiler alert. That's enough time. If you're still here, this is on you. If you haven't watched yet, pause, go watch it, come back. Cool. Agreed. Neat. I really enjoyed the show. I know we're only one episode in, but I'm liking it.
It was good. It was good. I wonder if Banner will continue to be a presence in the show, or if like he was just there for kind of the pilot.
I hope that he at least, maybe not as present, but
Yeah.
is there.
Well, I guess we can kick this off with she's on a trip with Bruce. Uh uh fuck, what was the name of it?
Sakar.
Sakar
Yeah.
ship attacks them. Their car flips into a ravine,
Well,
and
first off, it's Bruce back in human form.
yeah, yes. Well, I was
And
just gonna explain how she gets the
well, yeah,
into.
that's how, because he's as human,
Oh,
so
right, right,
so
right.
he
Yeah, yeah,
can
yeah, yeah,
bleed.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, they flip the car, and she gets cut on the arm. Bruce is stuck in the car. She goes to help him out. His blood gets in her blood, and she turns green, mean, and a sexy machine.
Brown chicken, wow, wow. Yeah,
Um, yeah,
and she like, well, kind of like it was teased in the Incredible Hulk when the dude that gets some of Banner's blood like dropped onto his head.
mhm,
Like, never know what happens to him, but probably never will. Um, but she changes into a Hulk immediately and
yeah,
just storms off.
yeah. That was a temper tantrum, as the Hulks do.
Oh, those Hulks. But
They also tease that in the same movie with Ed Norton, the Incredible Hulk, when he cuts himself and the blood drops into one of the drinks at the factory he works at, and he like
oh,
shuts the whole line down, and he's like, no, 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 no.
oh right, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say this show is funny, but it's also very self-aware
Mm.
because Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, is known for breaking the fourth wall.
Much like our boy Deadpool.
Not quite as aggressive or vulgar.
Dead?
Ting ting. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but it's fun because it starts off. She's about to go into the courtroom,
Hmm.
uh, and then breaks the fourth wall because her best friend mentions that, you know, don't Hulk out or whatever,
Yeah.
and so
She's
then
like,
she like breaks the fourth wall to be like, let's go back a little bit,
yeah.
and then.
That's my cousin. Yeah.
Mhm. And what's funny is they're eating Cheetos with chopsticks.
Oh yeah.
But that was something that Oscar Isaac like posted on Instagram, that's how he eats chopsticks, and
He eats chopsticks?
he eats Cheetos with chopsticks. I'm sorry.
Oh, oh, he's
Wow,
confusing me.
you're a
Sorry.
dick.
You
Also,
are
sorry,
what you eat, you know?
sorry that.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, you give that Gluck Gluck 3000? Super cool. Sorry, mom. Uh,
Fuck, 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 fuck.
3,000 times. No, this
Gross.
is off topic, but during the intro, like where it shows like the Marvel characters in the logo,
Hmm.
Moon Knight isn't in it this time
Neither is
around.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man's gone.
Spider Man makes sense
Yeah,
because if he's not in the film, like one, they probably can't, but also after No Way Home, people don't remember him.
exactly.
But
It would have
Moon
been
Knight isn't
cool.
in it.
Yeah. It would have been cool though, and this is off topic, I'm sorry. But it would have been cool because in the comics, uh the Hulk does not get bothered by that kind of shit. So he would remember who Peter is. So it would have been cool if
Yeah.
they took him out up until now and then put Spider-Man back in for the opening credits. That would have been just
Ooh,
like a
that would be
cool.
cool.
They didn't do it, but Feige, hire me. Come
Well,
on.
but it's also, this isn't the Hulk show. You know, it's the She-Hulk show.
Who gives?
Yeah. I tried. Okay? I tried. Uh, anyways, enough about Oscar Isaac and Peter Parker. Good looking dudes. This isn't about them.
It's interesting though that you said Oscar Isaac and then Peter Parker. instead of his actual
Tom
name.
Holland. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Well, because I was talking about Oscar Isaac in real life using chopsticks to eat Cheetos.
enough
This
about
is
Tom Holland and
Moon Knight.
Steven. Yeah, I was gonna say Stephen Grant, but
But like we mentioned, during the first part of the flashback, Bruce Banner's back in his human form, like we saw
Mhm,
in the end credit scene from Shang-Chi.
mhm,
But they explain it.
mhm.
Because his arm wasn't healing after the events of Endgame, he created a device that would basically pull the Hulk part out of him and regulate it so that he was able to be human, so that his arm could heal because the gamma damage to the Hulk wasn't repairing itself. And then they got in a car crash and that thing broke, and then he went back to being Smart Hulk. They made a point to specify that it was Smart Hulk too, which I thought was funny because they can't use the phrasing
Professor
Professor
Hulk.
Hulk because Universal still technically has rights to Solo.
They universally suck.
Yeah. What is it?
Like
Sony and who else were we
Fox.
and Fox,
Oh,
yeah.
we got to mention that. At
Oh.
some point. We don't have to do it right now.
Well, let's do it before we get into House of the Dragon, but
Yeah.
let's move on with this episode
Yeah. Uh,
that we're talking about and the podcast.
yeah.
It's like a twofer.
Fantastic show. There's some cool scenes where, like training scenes, Hulk is basically, sorry, I'm sorry, Mark Ruffalo is trying to teach Jennifer Walters.
I'm sorry, who?
I'm
I
making
know
fun of
you
you.
are. Fuck.
Um, but yeah, there's like some like a training montage kind of thing, and there's a couple funny parts. Uh, one of them being the rock throwing. He's like, "Look how strong we are," and he like chucks a rock, and then she throws one farther than him, and he gets pissed, and he like picks one up and like
And he picks up one
fucking
that's
just
like 3 times the size of the other ones and just
rockets it
yeet.
into space. And he's like, "Just had to show you how it's done," and she's like, "Jesus Christ." Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of like, I mean, this is pro
Yeah.
women.
And they're
This is pro
and
feminism.
yeah, and they're cousins, so there's like a kind of like a almost like a sibling rivalry kind of thing.
And
It's
also,
funny.
he just seems like he's a little bit jealous because she's kind of getting the hang of it faster.
Faster than he did, yeah.
And I mean, depending on how nerdy you want to get with it, there's really two explanations. The first one is in the comics, Bruce Banner kind of almost like Moon Knight, almost has kind of like an alter ego as
Mhm.
he's growing up because his dad was abusive and would just like beat the shit out of him. So like the Hulk was like the tough guy that would protect him when he actually got the gamma poisoning radiation.
Yeah.
Those parts split, and that's why there's been this conflict between them. Also, I think since they never went into that in the MCU, I think that part of the reason why, uh, very little, it was not much, and it was Ed Norton. So, no,
Sorry. Not trying to rain on you.
no. Correct me, please.
Well, there's the one is the end credit scene. Well, it's technically the same thing, but it's an end credit scene that they didn't end up using, but then for the Incredible Hulk, which
With Ed
shows
Norton.
Ed Norton's Hulk try to kill himself, and then Hulk appears, and you hear him scream, and like the snow falls off like a mountain, basically revealing Captain America's body under the ice. That was the scrapped end credit scene. But then Mark Ruffalo's Hulk makes a mention of it in the first Avengers movie, where he's like, "I got low at one point. I tried to kill myself. The Hulk spit. The other guy, he says, the
Oh,
other guy
yeah.
spit it out." So they do kind of mention that
They
he
mentioned that
protects
they're
him in a way.
separate. I meant that
But
they
that
didn't
is-
like explain why they're separate because, like in the comics,
Oh
it's
no! I
because
just meant
of
that
his
he
childhood
explains
trauma.
that the Hulk protects him, and he says it again in another part in, I don't remember which
It's
movie because
later
there's
on
like
in
50
the
of them. But yeah,
Avengers because when
is it?
Tony Stark is like, that much gamma radiation should have killed you, and he's like, oh, so you're saying
Oh,
like the other
that's
guy
it. Yep.
saved me? That's a nice sentiment.
Like pointed at you, and it. Yeah, I gotta point at the camera. I need the camera like right here.
We don't need to
Yeah.
see how many crop tops you actually wear. But a more MCU appropriate explanation as to why she's not battling as much is because when she got hit, I almost said Mark, Bruce's blood in her system was after he had melded,
Mhm.
you know, Hulk
Yeah.
and Bruce and made
Mm.
Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
It's a less sad, traumatic explanation than the comic origins. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that took a lot of time for me to. I mean, we
That's
tangented
okay.
off of it, but
That's okay. This
but
is.
the main point of it is Bruce is also kind of a little jealous because like he's like, yeah, like 10 to 15 years, like I struggled to like find this balance and get to this
Yeah.
point, and she like got it in like a day.
Yeah. When and it was like she just like automatically had it as where he
Yeah,
had to create that device to like do it and merge himself
yeah,
with. Yeah.
yeah. The
And then
third time that we see her change into the Hulk,
yeah.
she's like, as She Hulk, she's like, "What the hell, man?" And he's like,
And he's like, "You're still you. What the hell?"
"Yeah."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he like
Oh.
rips the first page out of his binder of like the how-to Hulk guide,
Yeah.
the
Is
diary
it
for a how-to Hulk kid.
fun fight scene between them two? Between
Hmm.
them two? Between those two? Sorry. Um, she basically wants to get back to her life, and he's like, "Nah, dude, you gotta train some more." And she's like, "No, get out of my way." And he's like, "No." So they fight a little bit. It's pretty cool. Um,
They smash his
I don't know.
tiki bar that him and Tony built.
Oh, that was adorable, by the way.
It
That
was.
him and so he like has this oasis basically in the middle of nowhere that he and Tony built for Banner to like escape people because whatever. But they like built a bar together and they carved their initials into the top of
Yeah,
the bar. It is so like without whatever I'm gonna say, it was cute. It was so cute.
it
It was like,
was.
ah,
And Bruce even says like it's a good memory from a bad time.
yeah,
Like one of those like silver lining, you know?
yeah,
But they fall off of like a little cliff or hill and smash through the bar. And then he's like, "My bar!"
yeah,
And then they kind of like calm down, make up. And he's like, "Before you leave, though, you're helping me fix this."
mm,
It's just funny.
mm. I also like the part in the training montage where she Natasha's herself or Hulk Natasha's her off the cliff. Yeah,
Woo!
yeah.
Just
She
middle
like
finger.
she like does something better than him, and he just goes, "Oh, you know what? Oh my God, you know what it was? I didn't even catch this till just now." He does it to Thor in the first Avengers movie, where he just goes wham.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally did the same thing to her. She was like, haha, and he goes, bam, and just shoves her off a cliff, and she like gives him the peace sign on her way down.
Yeah. And she comes up. She's like, "Dick."
Yeah,
But then later, she like hits him, and I don't think he gives her the finger. But then he's like, "Dick move," and she's like, "I
oh
learned
yeah,
from the best."
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's very fun, very funny. The action sequences, other than one, are pretty good.
well, let's talk about it because we get introduced to
Are you scared to say it?
Titania.
Titania.
I just want to say like Tatiana, but that's not right because it's Tatiana Maslany. Maslany
The
is playing Jennifer Walters.
yeah, the woman playing yeah, what Jack
Jamila
just said.
Jamil is who
Yeah.
plays
Titania,
Titania.
which sounds like Tatiana. I get where it's hard to
And I
say.
know that there's an I in the beginning of it, and so like just naturally I want to be like Titiana. And I was like, it's not that's not right. That's wrong.
Chad. Shame.
Ding 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 ding. Wiener wiener wiener. It's still funny.
It's still funny. But yeah, we get introduced to Titania at the end, towards the end of the episode, and she does a very
It's
awesome
so
flying kick.
cheesy.
Yeah,
She she breaks into the courtroom because now we're back in like
yeah,
Jennifer Walters is back to practicing law. She's got her
yeah, yeah.
change
Human,
under
her
power.
human form. Yeah,
So, she's been like change free for like months or something like that, maybe even close to a year. And she's in the courtroom, and Titania busts through the courtroom and starts just like wreaking havoc. And she looks like, well, she's throwing shit. She broke through a wall.
I
Oh,
mean, what was wrong
yeah.
with the door? Yeah, come on. You can still make an entrance coming through the door.
With that outfit, yeah. Good God, Twisted Sister would be like, damn, that's over the top.
Yeah, but then she Liu Kang's her way over to
I know it's different, but I just want to be like, Hadouken.
yeah. No, when he does the bicycle kick, he goes yeah 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 yeah. Like
Yeah.
yeah
But she like jumps for like a flying like side kick or like kind of like a drop kick. But I know that it's to
that
make it look
the air time was weird.
She like jumped slightly, threw out the kick, and then just like
Yeah, you had to go to YouTube to see what Chad just did to understand it, or watch the show, which you should do. But
you can also
yeah,
watch this on Spotify now because I guess that's a thing.
woo.
Ah.
But yeah, it's awkward and yeah
And then she just gets fucking yeeted to the ground from.
yeah, She-Hulk.
We were talking about. Oh my God, we didn't even get to it. What's your? Are you ready? Your qualm.
Oh yeah,
I've been making fun of you for saying it wrong for so long because when I read it, I know there's an L in the word qualm, but
It's Quam.
I looked it up. It's pronounced qualm. I'm sorry. It's
I
been
have
77
one.
weeks.
I have one single qualm with the show,
It just makes
and
me
it's
like cringe
that,
when I hear it because I think it's wrong. It's not. Sorry.
and
What's
it's
your
that
qualm?
Jennifer Walters' hair is about maybe shoulder-ish, like it's like a bob, curly bob.
Yeah.
But when she hulks out, her hair is straight for one, and two, it goes to probably like the middle of her fucking back. Doesn't make no sense.
Yeah. Middle of
Doesn't
the
make
middle of the
doesn't make
bicep to
none
like
sense.
elbow.
Yeah, not okay with it. I know that that's how She-Hulk looks in the comics, but why be like, hey, well, we're gonna cut your hair to like here, and then when you Hulk out, it's gonna go to here. Like, why not just have Jennifer Walters have long hair if that's gonna be the case? I don't, whatever. Bruce's hair stays the same when
Yeah.
he hulks out.
Is it that way in the comics though with Jennifer Walters? Is her hair curly?
In the comics, Jennifer Walters doesn't change between Hulk and human.
Maybe it's leading up to that because in the previews, like she's like going to events as She-Hulk, going on dates
Yeah.
as She-Hulk. So maybe it's leading to that though.
Yeah. She does not change like Bruce does. She stays green, mean, something
Sexy
machine.
ass machine.
Anyways,
With respect,
yeah.
respectfully, sexy.
But yeah, that's my qualm. Only qualm. The show itself is great.
My
Fantastic.
My only qualm, and it's gonna sound so bad because like, so this show is like very pro feminism, pro woman. I love it. I think that it's great. There's one scene that almost feels like just a trope because she's a woman, and it's in during that fight scene in the courtroom where
Oh, yeah.
her friend is like, you can do something about this, like Hulk out, like you can stop this woman. And Jennifer Walters is fine, like, fine, okay. And then she like turns this, like she's about to like, change into the Hulk, and her friend's like, oh, but take off your shoes, you don't want to ruin your pumps. I was like, it just seemed unnecessary.
Mm,
Like, I get it. She made a joke that like, oh yeah, I do love these shoes. Like,
mm.
but it was just like it drew attention away from like her
Being a badass.
and changing into the Hulk in public for the first time
Hmm.
to be a hero. It
Hmm.
was like all just so that like she didn't ruin her shoes.
Yeah.
That was my
Um.
qualm. I said it right.
Oh, we have like two. We have three things left. Oh, geez, we gotta fly through this.
Wait, what's the three things? I only
Well,
see two.
you got jealous. Oh, no,
Yeah,
we
we
already
talked
did
about
talk
that.
about that. Yep. Never mind.
Guess
Two,
who didn't
two,
show
two,
up in
two.
this episode?
Ah, not yet. He's not here yet.
Who?
Charlie Cox, Daredevil, is not here yet. We will keep you posted when he shows up, but it's not yet.
No Matthew Murdock.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yet. Yet.
And a running thing that has, I mean, it's been going on since fucking forever. But Jennifer Walters, when at the very start of the episode, she's in the car with Bruce talking about, is Captain America a virgin? Did he die a virgin? And never gets an answer, never gets an answer. There's an end credit scene, and boy, do we get an answer. So it's Jennifer Walters sitting next to Smart Hulk. They're
With the
drinking
rebuilt
with the
bar.
rebuilt bar.
Hmm.
He, uh, she is pretending to be drunk, crying, like so sad.
No,
That's
no, no,
America's
no. They're
ass.
not. They're not pretending to be drunk. They are drunk, but they won't get hangovers because they're whatever rebuilt. So they can get drunk, but they don't get hungover.
All, all buzz
Yeah,
is what uh, Banner
yeah.
says.
You
But
feel fucking good. You just don't end up with a
yeah, you just
hangover.
don't get like sloshed. You don't get like
Yeah.
sloppy drunk. But she's like crying, like acting like she's sloppy drunk. And she's like, it's so sad. He did so much for this country. And that ass, America's ass. And he died a virgin. And finally, Hulk just caves. What does he say?
Steve Rogers did not die a virgin. He lost his virginity on the USO tour in whatever fucking date he said.
1943.
Yeah, which cannot be confirmed or denied, but we believe it was with Star-Lord's mom.
Grandmother.
Grandmother, sorry. Yes.
Because they put an emphasis on her face. 1943.
Hmm.
His mom was like in her 40s when she passed away.
Right.
Played by the same
Grandmother.
actress between the two.
Yeah. And She-Hulk loses her shit.
She sobers up. She stops like fake crying, stop being like, "Ugh," and like slurring her words. She goes, yes, I knew it. Captain America fucks. Only they cut off before she finished the word fuck, much like the Spider-Man movies have in the past.
Yeah. And then Steve Rogers himself, aka Chris Evans, commented on it on social media. It was really funny.
Yeah, he just thought it was hilarious because no one told him that that was going to be like a point of topic, like,
Right.
in the actual like MCU. It was just supposed to be ambiguous. Absolutely hilarious. Tell us about our second sponsor. Go watch the show.
I was like, I don't think we have anything else for this. Just go watch it. It's hilarious.
Comes out on Thursdays, which is weird for like an MCU show on Disney Plus, but whatever.
Well, it wasn't Miss Marvel on Wednesdays.
All of them have been on Wednesdays.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways,
Wednesday's my day off, damn it. I like to
well-
watch that during the day. Tell us about Crybaby Craig's.
sponsor number 2 is Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on goes on practically anything.
Today, Junior.
Hey, Junior. Anyways, listen up. We'll tell you more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods. adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today.
All right, we gotta mention something that's pretty dumb in the nerd
Oh,
world.
so dumb.
Much like Sony was being a jerk about the rights to Spider-Man, now Fox is doing the same thing about the rights to the X-Men for Marvel.
And
They are
what's
not.
dumb
Go
about
ahead.
it is that Disney bought Fox.
Yeah.
But, like we're going to get into, if they don't show the 20th century logo, they
Hmm.
can't use the name X-Men.
Yeah. So Marvel is now being forced to call them the mutants, and we can't use the X-Men term, which is dog shit. Dog shit.
You're already owned by the company. You're still going to make the
Yeah.
fucking profits. You don't
Yeah.
exist. You are a fucking satellite umbrella nothing.
So fucking annoying.
I'm
So fucking annoying.
glad that they take their bullshittery from their news counterpart
Yeah.
of just dumb and not smart
But on a
and
lighter note,
useless. Oh, we're not going to go political? That's right. That's our other podcast.
on a lighter note,
Semi-lighter.
House of the Dragon, which is the prequel to Game of Thrones, aired last night. For you
Sunday
friends,
night. Yeah.
sorry, listening, it will have aired on the 21st, which was Sunday. You'll be hearing this on Wednesday. Blah blah blah. Anyways, spoiler alert before we get started, but
Go watch
Jesus, it was way better than I thought it was gonna be.
it. Yeah.
Way better. Yeah. I knew it was gonna be good.
It has
I just-
season 1 Game of Thrones vibes where like
Yeah.
you're hooked after the first episode.
Yeah,
At least I was.
Yeah. No, I was too. Yeah, it was fucking yeah. Anyways, we get I'm like losing myself because I'm trying to not look at the other screen. So I'm like trying to just do it, but Nike.
Just do it.
We get to see very briefly or kind of get a mention to where Jon Snow gets his name from, is the very first king for the Targaryens, which is pretty cool. Aegon
Yeah.
Targaryen.
Yeah, and the Targaryens ruled Westeros for 200 years, just shy of
Yeah.
200 years. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, it was like 6 generations or 8 generations or something like
Yeah. This show is basically about the civil war that's talked about in Game of Thrones, a civil war in the House of Targaryen.
Yeah.
And that's what the show is about, showing right now the lead up to, and they lead pretty heavily up to it in just this first episode. Like you already know who the bad guy is going to be. Like
that. Maybe not, though, in true Game of Thrones fashion. Everyone's
that's fair.
kind of
That's fair.
evil in their own way.
Yeah.
But so far, we've gotten 2 different dragons.
Mm-hmm.
They're already at least adolescent, large enough to ride. There's a ton of people in this show. The 4 main
It's Morbin time.
Morbin time. Matt Smith. He's also the Doctor. He
Yeah.
was
And Doctor Strange.
the 11th Doctor in Doctor Who.
I was just kidding.
I know you were. I just didn't want people to be like, "You guys are fucking wrong. I hate you," because Doctor Who fans are very passionate, more than
If you
Harry Potter
listen to
adults.
us, you know. You know.
But he plays Daemon Targaryen, who is brother to the king, King Viserys.
Mhm.
I didn't write down that actor's name, but you just look at him, and you're like, "Oh, I know this guy. He's actually in like Hot Fuzz."
Mhm. Love Hot Fuzz.
He was also in Shaun of the Dead. I mean, he pops up in every single one of Nick Frost and Simon Pegg's films. Also, he's just a fantastic actor. Like,
Hmm.
he's not just known for being in like spoof films. Uh,
Morbius.
well, that's Matt Smith. Actually,
Oh, sorry.
yeah,
I thought you were talking about.
Matt Smith is a great
I
actor.
I thought you were calling Morbius a spoof film, and I was like,
Oh yeah, well
that's funny.
it could be. It's a spoof superhero film and it's a spoof vampire film.
You're talking about his brother.
Yeah, King Viserys.
Gotcha. Yeah, my
Um,
bad. My bad. My bad.
Also, Rhaenyra, played by Millie Alcock. Uh, we get to see her as kind of like a young adult, like 18, 19
I think she's
ish.
supposed to be. No, she's 15 in the show, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they mention it when her mom is laying on that bed, very pregnant, and she was like, "You're just 15, but soon you'll be laying in this very same bed." And I was like,
Oh.
"Ah, gross."
Did not catch that line. In
Yeah.
real life, Millie Alcock is 22.
Mhm.
Just throwing that part out there. We also get Rise Ifans?
Reese
Reese
Ifans.
Ifans.
Yeah. Who, in the nerd realm, played the Lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man. So
Dr.
dope.
Connor.
Yeah. Woohoo.
But he is the hand of the king. Otto
He's
Highwater.
Hand of the King.
Yeah.
He's also very unrecognizable. I
Yeah.
did not know that that was him until I looked up the cast and I was like, shit,
I
that's him?
I looked up the cast at the start of the episode and I was like, oh, okay, I recognize some of these people. Cool, cool, cool. And I was like, he's in this? Who is
Yeah.
he? And like he'd already been in like 5 scenes. I was like halfway through the episode, and then
Yeah.
someone like said his name, and I was like, holy shit.
I think he's notoriously blonde, which is part of it. So
Mhm.
now he's a brunette and
Very rarely
he's
does
got
he have facial hair. That's why I
yeah,
didn't recognize him. I don't know if you ever saw the Kingsmen, the latest Kingsman film,
no.
the
Didn't
Kingsman.
care for the first didn't care for the
He
first
plays
one.
Rasputin.
Mm.
So like very Russian, big, dark black beard, like dark sunken eyes. Like I was like, holy shit, that's him. Fuck. Anyways, those are kind of some of the main characters that we're gonna reference. Also, Reese's daughter is kind of like the handmaiden tale to Rhaenyra, Millie
Yeah.
Alcock's character, the
Mm-hmm,
princess.
mm-hmm. Yeah, which they haven't like explicitly said it, but pretty sure they're
They're in love.
lovers.
Yeah, they're in love.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure we'll explore that more later on. One of the cool scenes in the show for me was one of the cool scenes in the show for me was well, one of the sorry, let me back up 1 second.
Let's
One
start
of
with the
the
first scene of the show.
go ahead.
Just because it's been, 5-6 years since Game of Thrones ended, and this is a new timeline. Not a new timeline, but a new time frame, time era.
It's a prequel, yeah.
So on top of this being a prequel, they started. Just the opening scene was about, I guess, 15 years before where the show starts. And it was just a way to kind of like reintroduce you. Well, you
Oh,
said
yeah.
that
Yes,
she's
yes,
15.
yeah. My bad. My bad. My
So,
bad. My bad. Yeah.
and
You're right. Yeah.
her mom was pregnant. And it just shows when King Viserys,
Mm.
at that point in time, he was just a prince being named the heir to the throne over
Between
his
him and his
sister,
sister. Yeah.
kind of just like perpetuating the patriarchy. But it was cool because the voiceover was going, and it just kind of reintroduced you to the show, but to a new story. And I thought it was a good way to bring you back into the world of Game of Thrones because
They also, yeah,
you
and
know,
they also give you a more subtle version of the wiener, 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 wiener. They do. They do. They
yeah,
give it.
no,
They give it to you softly.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. They definitely push rope with it, and sorry, mom. Uh,
This entire segment should just be sorry, mom, because it's Game of Thrones. Well, House
they
of the
play
Dragon.
the original score for Game of Thrones, but they slow it down a little bit, change it up a little bit, but it's still very much you know.
It's like Duel of the Fates in Episode 1 of Star Wars with Battle of the Heroes in Episode 3 of Star Wars. It's the same, but like changed enough to where it's original, but you can hear the first.
I am a big fan of, and hopefully they keep it throughout the season. The intro is very short,
Oh
unlike
my.
Game of Thrones, where it was like a 2 minute long
And it
intro.
and it changed every single week because it was telling
Yeah,
you who was going to be in this episode instead of just like
yeah,
these are the headline characters.
yeah. So hopefully it stays that way. But
I
anyways,
hope so too. As you were going to say, I did not mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
the fuck was I gonna say?
The scene with Damon because he's the lead of the King's Guard.
Oh, the gold capes or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
this
yeah,
is where they got. This is the start of them wearing gold.
yeah. It's he basically, so he doesn't live here. He got sent away, but he
You
comes
don't even
back.
go here.
I just have a lot of feelings. Um, yeah, so he comes back and there's some creepiness with his niece. We'll get into that, whatever. But there's a really cool scene where he is basically like, hey, you know what? Since my brother started ruling, the streets are running amok with criminals and blah blah blah. So he takes his,
He's
but
basically in Jamie Lannister's position as like the leader of the King's Guard.
yeah, and he's like, let's just go fuck some people up and let them know that they can't do this shit. So he takes his guys, his people, sorry, and they got gold capes on over their shoulder. They look like Romans, but with gold instead of red.
Yeah,
Um, and they basically just like start pointing people out in the crowd. That person's a thief, and they grab that person, chop their fucking hand off. And that person's a rapist, and they grab that person, cut their dick off. No joke. That's what actually happened. And then they're like, that person's a murderer. And then
you
they
don't see the
show,
wiener get cut, but you see the dude like squirming with his pants around his ankle
yeah, yeah,
from the ass view. So
yeah.
don't worry, you
You
don't actually.
assume it's a cutting. It could be maybe he's screaming in pleasure. I don't know. They're like,
They
he's a
slap.
rapist. Suck his dick.
They slap something down after he screams. They're like,
That was that. They high
"Quick,
fived it. They high fived it. They were like, good dick.
good diaka."
Yuck. But and then yeah, so then they murderers get their heads cut off, and they basically just show like a wagon full of body parts of these people that they just like cut their limbs off in accordance to their crimes. Did I say that right? That sounded weird.
No,
But
that yeah, in
okay.
accordance to their crimes, yeah.
Yeah. And his brother, the king, I was gonna say he didn't like it, but then actually at
But
the
then
end
he
of
like
that, like,
defended him for it.
yeah, he's
Still,
like, our streets ended pretty bad. We
yeah,
probably needed this.
yeah.
But yeah,
And
it was a
it
pretty
comes
gnarly
out later
scene.
that he's like he's my brother. I'm going to support him. I may not like everything that he does, but he's my brother.
Yeah,
That
it
happens
was
later. But
in true Game of Thrones fashion. It was pretty gnarly scene.
it
I loved
was.
it. I loved it.
And the reason that he did that was because so the king and his queen are expecting a baby.
Hmm.
And he's certain that it's going to be a son to
Hmm.
for the heir to the throne.
Yeah.
So they're throwing like a tournament like we saw in the first season of Game of Thrones. Robert Baratheon threw like a basically a tournament for his birthday, but this
Hmm.
was to celebrate the birth of his child.
Yeah.
And so all these people are coming from across, the realms. So they wanted to clean up the streets. And that's
Yeah.
how Matt Smith's Daemon Targaryen justified it. He's like, we're going to
Yeah.
have lords and ladies from across the seven nations here to celebrate the birth of your heir.
But really, it's kind of a like he's undermining his brother and showing like, hey, I'm the one cleaning up the streets.
Yeah.
You've been doing
'Cause-
fuck all.
And they even say that, like, he didn't get approval from the king to do that.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
Viserys is even like, he, along the lines of saying, like, thank you for doing this, but if you
Yeah.
ever act that heinously without my command,
Hmm.
there's going to be a problem.
Yeah. 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 Um, I forgot it. You go.
But, so, well, do we want to get to the Sweet Home Westeros? Or do we want to talk about the tournament and the birth scene? I'll let you
Well,
choose.
the tournament and the birth scene kind of run hand in hand.
They
Like
literally cut
when you're watching
between.
it. Yeah, yeah. So let's go there. Let's go there.
Okay. So we get to the tournament. You know,
It's a tournament. It's
jousts
fantastic.
are going on.
The best tournament.
It's huge. No China. Sorry. No, but so the tournament's happening at the same time the queen goes into labor.
Mhm.
So the king is drawn away, but it's very back and forth, cutscene to cutscene of like the
Yeah.
joust happening.
The music is
the-
very
the-
intense.
And what's
And you're
cool
going back.
is
Yeah.
it's a small scene. I mean, you talked about it where the queen is like laying in the tub and talking to Rhaenyra. Is like, you know, you're only 15, but in a few years, you know, this will be you.
Hmm.
And Rhaenyra is like, I'd rather be a knight fighting. She's like, as a woman, this is your battleground.
Yeah.
So it's cutting back and forth where like it's their battleground, like the women.
They're very Republican for sure. Yeah.
The women of Westeros's battlefield versus the men playing war because it's a time of peace. There's no infighting happening yet.
But again, in a Game of Thrones fashion, they're literally bashing each other's skulls in. And
Oh, yeah,
killing
it's
each other.
still-
very bloody.
It's
Yeah.
still jousting. People are getting butthurt and killing each other after they get knocked off their horse. So they're like, oh, no, you tripped my horse. I'm going to kill you.
Die. Here's a mace to the face 10 times.
There was some pretty
It was pretty brutal.
gruesome-
Yeah.
And we see like multiple back and forths and stuff like that.
But probably the most brutal scene in the episode is. Oh, give some context first, and then I'll explain the gore.
Are we talking about on the birth
The
side or the tournament?
The choice.
The
Mm, the best choice.
no, the worst.
Hamburger or hot dog? Do you taco or do you pizza?
Both.
If
If you go to Taco Bell, you can get a Mexican pizza. That's a taco pizza. Anyways, no. So there's complications with the queen's birth, and the Grand Meister,
Master,
the Grand
Mister.
Maester,
Mister.
the Grand Sir. No, the Grand Maester goes to the king and is like, there's an impossible choice to be had at this point in time. If we leave it as it is, to where she just gives birth naturally, both will die. So either both will die, or you can make the choice and save one of them. Either perform a very dangerous, well, at that point in time, it would have been
Lethal.
dangerous,
Lethal.
C-section, because they had no way to stop the bleeding.
Mm.
Obviously, nowadays, like a C-section, people are like, I want that.
There's no dragons nowadays to cauterize the wound.
Well, back then, that didn't help either, because
Just kidding.
they were going to die.
Yeah.
Or terminate the baby, let her pass it naturally, and she lives.
Hmm.
So the king has to choose: lose them both, lose one or the other.
But since he only has a daughter
Yeah, and
and the
he's
baby is a boy,
well, he doesn't know for sure, but he's
yeah,
convinced in his mind.
because he had a dream that the baby was a boy.
Yeah, and
Uh,
Targaryens are known for having
yeah,
grandiose dreams that are
yeah.
actually visions of the future.
And so this would be his heir to the throne, would be his son,
Yeah,
that his wife is carrying. So he chooses, and what happens? Chadley.
they perform a very grotesque C-section.
It's brutal. It's
They
it's
they
yeah.
do for as terrible and grotesque as it is because they're literally
And they
murdering
hot
her
dogged.
slowly.
They hot dogged
They didn't
with
hamburger.
the cut. They hot dogged. They didn't
Yeah,
hamburger.
I
Yeah.
think they did like a reverse autopsy by. I think that they
And it
like
was
an upside down
the
Y.
I think the part that made it like so powerful and like fucked up is that there was no conversation. There was just like Viserys comes over to her and like grabs her hand and is like, "It's gonna be okay." And then other people come over and grab her other limbs and basically hold her down. And she's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then
Yeah,
they just start cutting her open.
yeah.
And she's like screaming and begging them to like stop.
You
And
don't
yeah,
see as much of like the actual carving. There is a lot of blood. You
well,
do see
there's also a
you see
very
a little bit of like hands going into the
yeah,
belly, but you don't see them like cut
yeah,
her open or
yeah.
like guts or
It's kind of like the scene in Ghost where Patrick Swayze's like guiding Demi Moore's hands. There's hands on the clay. That's
Yeah.
what's happening. Yeah.
Sorry. If you guys weren't watching that, you would not understand what just happened. Yeah, actually, you could probably piece that together
Yeah,
based
you
on
could
all the
probably figure it
context.
out.
But
Yeah.
it's terrible. But at that same time, as the heir to the king is being extracted from his dying
Hmm.
wife,
Hmm.
uh, Daemon Targaryen, played by Matt Smith, is in the middle of a joust with
Joust turned battle.
turned battle because he got
Yeah.
knocked off of his horse and was pissed. So he went to attack the other knight, like sword versus mace,
Yeah.
and
You got smacked around.
he ends up on his back,
Yeah.
unarmed, sword gone, shield
Yeah.
destroyed, even the knife, his backup knife, his sidearm,
Yeah.
if you will,
He fucked around and found out.
very much found out.
Yeah.
And the other knight's yelling, "Yield, yield, yield!"
Mm.
And I mean,
He
he does yield, but you
Mhm.
don't. I didn't trust that yield
I
at
thought
all.
for sure he was gonna stab that dude.
So
For
did I.
sure. Didn't do
Either
it.
as he got picked up, like, because
Yeah, because
the
he
dude like
extends
reached
his hand to
down.
like
Yeah, I thought he was gonna like take the hand and then stab him. He just slaps the hand away and like gets up because he's like
yeah.
proud little bitch with no eyebrows. It's my
Yeah.
That's my qualm with Matt Smith's character is he's so blonde that he does not have eyebrows, uh, in this character. But anyways, then it goes back to the king and the queen. She is dead on the
Mm.
bed. The maester is holding the baby. He's like, "Congratulations, it's a boy. This is your heir." The baby coughs a few times, like Jake just did, and the maester just kind of like looks at the baby and is like, "Oh
Shit.
shit! Oh shit!
Yeah,
Shit!"
because then it just like goes quiet, and then the next scene that you see is
Literally a funeral with a
well,
pyre.
yeah, but they only show at first they only show his wife's body, and
Yeah.
then they zoom out or pan out. Pan out's the way to go with that. And then there's a tiny little cute little mummy next to the mom mummy.
A mom and me coffin.
Well, it was a mummy. They wrapped it up like
Oh,
a
you said
mummy.
mummy.
Yeah.
Oh, what I said was so much more fucked up.
Yeah. And
Uh,
so you see that they both died, which now the king is riddled with guilt because he obviously
he made that choice. Yeah,
made the wrong choice, yeah, and killed both of them instead of saving his wife. He chose an heir instead of the love of his life, and they both died.
yeah. And I know that we've skipped over a lot of like the character development so far, even in the first episode
We
of
could talk a lot about this show.
Rhaenyra.
It would go on forever, yeah.
But so she owns one of the dragons that we've met so far. I
Hmm.
don't remember the dragon's name, but she is
Oh,
tasked with lighting the
who
pyre.
plays the dragon? I'll look it up.
Benedict Cumberbatch? Is it Smaug?
Sorry, I had to.
No, that was funny. I feel like my joke wasn't as appreciated. I thought it
Sorry.
was clever. Anyway, so she's tasked with lighting the pyre with her dragon. So we know it's coming, like us fanboys that, loved Game of Thrones. But if you've never watched it, you don't know it. That you think that the dragon's just there.
Hmm. If you know, you
She
know.
hesitates. She looks at her dragon, and then Jacaris.
Jakaris. I literally said it to the TV. I was like,
I
Jakaris.
did twice because at first I was like, Dracaris, and then when I thought she was gonna say it first, and then she freezes, and then like looks at her dad, all sad, and then Matt Smith is like, "You have to do this. Like
Yeah.
your dad can't do this." And it's one of the few times in the episode where you also look at Daemon Targaryen, um, again Matt Smith, and are like, he actually cares. Like he
Yeah.
actually cares about his family.
He's just got a real creepy vibe
He
towards his
yeah, he's got
niece.
yeah. A
I
bit
think he wants
of a little bit of a Daenerys vibe, if you will.
yeah.
Just wants to bang like his sibling's child.
Mm,
Um
yeah, it's weird.
Wiener,
Real weird.
wiener, wiener, wiener,
Wiener
wiener.
wiener.
Sweet home
Whoa.
Halloweener.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. Oh shit, what was this? I have a theory, and I didn't mention this to you when we were
Can we
talking
talk
about
about
it.
how the the pubes?
Oh, as I'm like rubbing my mustache.
It's so I found it so funny. I literally felt like Leo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was like, hup, 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 hup.
Yeah, Matt Smith's character is very the Targaryens are known
Blonde,
for having like almost
white,
white
blonde,
hair
like
for
platinum
blonde
hair.
hair, yeah. Um,
He's
but
at a whorehouse.
his carpet doesn't match the pubes
Yeah, he's at a pleasure house. He like gets up because he can't finish because the girl has brown hair.
because it's not his niece.
Yeah, I feel so weird knowing that she's only 15 now talking about that.
In the show.
It's part of the show. It's part of the show. Millie Alcock is not 15. She is 22.
13.
No.
I was just kidding. I was trying to
No.
convince.
She is old enough. Anyways, he gets up and like he just like turns away and you're like, is this going to be the first dick that we see in the show? Because in Game of Thrones you see plenty of wieners.
Wiener, wiener, wiener. See, we told you it would come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, exactly. He like throws
What's funny?
he throws a shawl on, but like as he's tying it shut, you don't actually see his wiener, but you just see big brown bush. And I just went up, 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 like audibly at my TV.
Maybe he
It's-
dyes his pubes.
Oh yeah, so that the carpet doesn't match the pubes. If you know, you know.
I love redheads, man. I wonder if her carpet matches the pubes. Sorry,
I
Mike.
should have done it towards the camera. I fucked up there.
Yeah. But no, I was gonna say I have a theory that we didn't talk about. I think the dragons in this show are going to be very much like the dire wolves in Game of Thrones, and we'll see them unfortunately meet their demise, leading to their extinction as the show goes on.
You're actually very correct.
I know.
Without knowing for sure, but according to Game of Thrones lore, about 150 years passed from the last living dragon to when Daenerys was born.
Mm,
And this show takes place 172 years,
mm,
at least this episode, before Daenerys was born. And the show is
yeah,
supposed to span about 25 years
yeah,
over the course of, I don't know if it's going to be one season or over the course of the series.
yeah.
But so yes, we will see dragons come and go. Oh, like coming? Oh, weird. Come and go. It's a gas station in Iowa, you sick fucks.
Do the White Walker thing. Do the thing. Do the thing.
So after the funeral, basically the High Council gets together. They decide that Viserys is not going to be named heir, and instead the king is going to name his daughter Rhaenyra.
Oh, but why?
Part only because I watched the behind the episode. It's partially because of his guilt of focusing so much on having a son to name heir that he neglected his daughter this entire time.
Yeah.
But
The anger side of it.
the anger side of it is because the week of the funeral of the baby and the queen, Daemon Targaryen basically takes out all of the officers of the Kingsguard, the Gold Cloaks, and takes them to a whorehouse. And in his toast, he raises a glass to the late queen and the heir to the throne for a day.
King was it heir to king for a day or heir to the throne? Yeah.
Heir for a day.
Yeah, heir for a day. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Whew.
and
Brutal.
the King Viserys just destroyed, because that's his brother who's mocking the death of his child.
Yeah.
And so he basically strips him of his title of being the
banishes
commander
him.
of the Kingsguard,
Yeah.
and banishes him from King's Landing to go back to not old Valyria, but like Valyria.
But he's also like
Across the Eastern Sea, like past Dorne. Go back to. He also has a wife. Daemon Targaryen has a wife that he despises because she's not a
his
pasty blonde Targaryen. He's like, he even says at one point in the episode, "Oh, that." I'm not gonna say it. I can't say it. I'm white.
There's a part where he's in the whorehouse. Sorry, whores that are listening. He's
Sex workers. We support you.
yeah. He's in a whorehouse and he can't get it up. Happens. It's not that uncommon.
He's just pushing rope. It's fine.
And he gets frustrated and
Not everyone can be Captain America 1943 on the USO tour.
and the companion, we'll call her companion instead of whore. I feel bad.
Yeah.
She comes up and she's like, "Hey, like, do you want me to bring another girl in? I have several girls. I even have girls with white hair." And he kind of like looks up at her, and it's like, "Ah, you sicko!" Like, he wants his niece. I already know that that's what's happening. Like,
because he also like gives her like a necklace made of Valyrian steel, and like makes her turn around so he can like sensually put it around her neck.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It's
We're getting some real Lannister vibes
I
over
was
here.
just about to say that was literally verbatim what I was gonna say.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder. My bad, dude.
No, you're fine.
We didn't talk about that, so I didn't.
No, I
there
know.
was no
That's why
scripted
it
out
was
part
funny.
for that.
We're funny, damn it.
We're funny, damn it.
What are you doing, Uncle? Oh man, I almost don't want to put that fucking drum beat that everyone knows but doesn't want to admit that they know over that part.
Oh
Uh,
God.
but during the part where King Viserys is telling Rhaenyra that he's going to name her heir to the throne,
Mm.
he also tells her about a vision of, I think, Aegon Targaryen again, which is why he crossed the Eastern Sea to come to Westeros, was because of his vision of eternal darkness and winter and cold that is rifled with an unbeatable army of the dead. As we know from Game of Thrones, those are the
And
White
then Bruce
Walkers.
Campbell came in with the chainsaw. Sorry, you said army. Oh, you did Army of Darkness. Damn it.
No, I did say Army of the Dead.
Yeah, but the movie
Eternal
is called
darkness.
Army of Darkness. No,
Oh.
Army of. Yeah. So I was off. I was
Well,
off.
you were wrong twice.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It happens.
Whatever. You said qualm.
Yes, but so he basically talks about the future of the battle against the White Walkers,
Mm.
and that's why the Targaryens have to stay in power because they're the ones that can unite the realms and the nations of Westeros to fight this evil because they have dragons. But
I
what
wonder if
was
that means
cool
that
is that they referenced it, that Aegon Targaryen named this vision and dream a song of fire and ice, which is what Game of Thrones, like the 7-book series, well, 6 because the 7th book still isn't finished. Good thing we finished the story without you, George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, and it was
Um,
dog crap. Dog crap.
Yes, yes, but it was, the saga was called the Song of Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Yeah, man. I wonder if because of that, I wonder if we'll get to see because we only got like a flashback in Game of Thrones, when the Children of the Woods explained how the White Walkers came to be. I wonder if we'll get a more in-depth.
flashback.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because I mean, that happened like thousands of years before.
Oh, so
Game of Thrones.
that's already a thing now.
White Walkers already exist. They're just
Oh, I hope we get to see some then.
they're
I
just
was literally
sleeping.
talking to people at work about it today, and I was like, I don't like. I love the show so far, based on the first episode, but I don't know if we're gonna get as much of a supernatural aspect of it as Game of Thrones
There's
did.
fucking dragons.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Game of Thrones was you had the Stone People, you had White Walkers, you had the Children of the Woods, you had giants.
Well,
you
we
had,
might get
yeah,
Greystone or Grayscale, or which
Yeah.
leads to the Stone People, because King Viserys has an infection on his back from the throne.
yeah. But this show is supposed to be more about the Civil War in the House
Yeah.
of Targaryen, so I don't think we're gonna get as much of a supernatural vibe from it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I could be very wrong. I mean,
we'll see. They might
Yeah.
also try and like stretch this out for like 10 seasons, and I hope not. But
I much more rather them
One
put
and
out
done?
the Jon Snow.
yeah,
I want the Jon Snow sequel.
yeah. Well, let's. I mean, that's pretty good for this. Let's go ahead and close out this episode.
But before we do, we got a couple things we just want to talk about with you.
With y'all. Were you
I
gonna say
almost said-
y'all?
no, I almost
know
said
what you
you
almost
guys.
said.
I
Yeah,
almost said you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. Go.
with y'all.
With y'all.
No, but as you
We're
all,
making an effort, damn it.
I know. As many of you know, we do have our Patreon page. It's a fantastic way to support the podcast. You know, as it starts to grow, you know, we're gonna transition from a GroupMe account into Discord. So, you know, giant group chat with fans just to talk about nerd shit, opinions, all of that. But also, just Patreon in general is a great way to support us. It's a way to give monthly, and it helps us do more live streams, more cool stuff, have cooler people on the show. Realistically,
Help us.
if you don't want to give monthly, totally get it. I barely want to give monthly, and I do it anyways. Uh, but I'm also on the show every week, so I kind of feel like I have to. It's an obligation. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. We do have our web store. We've got some cool stuff on there. Also, just like us on social medias.
Like, follow, tell your friends.
That's the biggest thing. Just tell your friends if this is something that you think that they would like, both from a vulgar, we think we're funny. We are funny,
God
damn it. It's still funny. Or if they're into the nerd world. I mean, we try and be a little bit of something for everyone.
And even if like they're into something nerdy and you're like, I don't think they really like get into that kind of stuff. Yes, we do.
Yeah, tell
We
them to follow us and then tell them to
yeah,
reach out to us.
we totally take suggestions. If you have a TV show, a movie, comic book series, a video game, a card game, anything
Just
nerdy
nerd culture.
that you want us to do, we will
Yeah.
fucking go out and get it and do it. That's what we're trying to do here, and we will review it. We'll talk about it. We'll be vulgar as fuck about it, and we'll drink while we do it. But that's what
Yeah.
we do. Don't try to change me.
The end goal is that we just want to build a nerd community that is welcoming to everyone, as long as you're okay with swearing and open.
Alcohol abuse.
It's not abuse. It's an
Sorry,
opportunity.
alcohol opportunities.
As long as you're a good person and you like nerdy shit, like we're trying to make this a place for you. So
And we're bridging gaps with, I mean, I don't know, we haven't done it yet, but I mean we're networking. We have friends, Jerry Ma, Ken Knutson,
yeah, we
our
have some
producer
stuff coming up
Alan,
with
like
some really awesome independent artists coming up in the
Yeah.
next couple of months.
we got some cool stuff coming out.
We have some
Uh,
shared segments that are kind of in the planning stages with other podcasts.
More guests. I mean, we've had guests on this show that are bigger than our show deserves to fucking have.
Yeah.
Because we are a very small podcast.
Almost
That is a hand drawn.
All of our guests are.
Yeah. That, I mean, autographs, pictures, I mean, comic books, autographed comic books from people who are just the best people in the entire world. And part of what we do is, try to amp them up too. And
Yeah.
they do the same in return for us. And we love everybody. We love all you guys, fans, friends that we meet through this.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah. And thank you for letting us do this for almost 80 weeks now.
Woo.
I mean,
Wait.
seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is episode 77, and we've unfortunately had to skip a couple of weeks for various circumstances. We love you. This has been the All Things Nerd Podcast.